All right, so let's talk AR-15 slash M16s. So these here are three from my collection, and let's go over them a little bit. So Dean here with I Buy Cool Stuff, and let's talk about the Eugene Stoner invention, the AR-15 slash M16. So I have three of them in my collection. No, I've got more than three, but I've got three of them here out on the table. So that one there was the first one I had. And that, I believe, is an M16-A1. Now, because I buy cool stuff, I was at a gun show thinking about getting an AR-15. A guy came walking through the show, had a bunch of uppers over his shoulder, and that was one of them. And I bought that upper mostly because it had the 3-prong flash hider on it. But I'll tell you more about that one. This one here is a standard AR-15. And if Eugene Stoner ever thought that gun would have developed into this gun and other crazy variants, I've got another one in 450 Bushmaster, looks very similar to this. I think he would be shocked. But he did a heck of an invention when he invented it. And this one here is the most recent purchase. Trade. I had a SKS I picked up a month or two ago. And guy says, I'm looking for an SKS. I'm wanting to trade an AR for an SKS. And I says, well, I've got an SKS. So I went and got the SKS out. And this is the AR-15 slash M16. This one here, I believe, is an M16-A2. So let's look at these a little bit and see what the differences are. So this is your standard AR-15 that you buy today. Flat top, regular barrel. I put this together. It's just a plinking gun. I am used to using a side bolt, a side-handled bolt, and they had just come out with these side-handled bolts. So I've bought two of them. This one is in 223/556, and the other one is in 450 Bushmaster, and that's one of my deer rifles. So, and the wife used the 450 for deer hunting this year. So this one here I traded is an M16-A2. And I believe this is just a clone, I believe. I'm not certain. I've got a mark here that I do not know. And the big difference between an M16-A2 and an M16-A1 is this shell deflector and the angle on the handguard holder. If you look at this one, the handguard holder is flat and it has no shell deflector. Also, the forward bolt assist is teardrop shape, whereas the later ones are round. So this one here I don't know that much about. I've only had it a couple weeks. I seen a mark here on the front sight. Where did I see a mark? Is it right in there? I think there's a mark right there if you can make it out. So I'm not sure if this is a military upper or not. I do see a designation to the barrel twist or something here. So I'm going to guess this one is not military. But it's a nice looking clone, if not. And it's going to be a fun shooter, I'm certain. So this one here is, other than the lower, I believe it's 100% military. So the guy was walking through the gun show with this one here, and he had half a dozen uppers slung over his shoulder. And I says, hey, what are you doing with the uppers? He says, selling them. We just took a bunch of M16s apart and we're selling off all the parts. And so I bought this and did not know exactly what I was buying, just knew that it was interesting. Now this is, I have found out, is a complete military upper. The barrel is marked MP there, and the upper receiver is marked here. Let's see if we can get it to focus. With a C in a square and another box there. And I believe this upper is 100% military. Vietnam era. I know I have been told that the rubber-coated sling swivels are military. This one here has a fair bit of the rubber chipped off, which you can see there. This one also has a rubber-coated sling swivel, but I do not know if it's military. I'm going to guess this buttstock is military. It has a chipped up sling swivel, and I believe I seen a, what did I see on here? Right here. I believe there's a rack number there on a piece of tape, or that old rack number 10. So I'm going to guess that buttstock is definitely military. This one here I know is military. It's got a rack number over here. Looks like D37. So I bought the upper, and it had the triangle handguard on it. And the friend of mine had a bunch of lowers. And so I just picked out a lower that had a similar finish to it. I wanted it to match. This finish is considerably lighter than this finish. This is almost black, and this is a real nice gray. So I picked out the lower that he had that had the closest finish, and I put the rifle together. So I'm going to guess that this is, I believe we put an M16 bolt in it. Other than I think the lower and maybe some small internal parts, this is 100% military. And I'll never be able to afford a full military one. So this is as close as it gets. This is just a 223-556 plinker I put together. It's fun to shoot. They're great guns. Everybody ought to have one. Everybody ought to have two. They're fun to shoot, and they're you can just do everything with them. I mean, when you can take something that was built like this and make it into a toy like that, all right, what a terrific invention Eugene Stoner came up with. So anyhow, if anybody knows the markings on this M16-A2 here, I do not know if it is a military upper or not. I just don't. If not, it's a nice clone. And who wouldn't trade an SKS for a nice M16-A2 clone? So, anyhow. So I hope you enjoyed looking at couple of my AR15/M16s. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I appreciate it. And like I always say, God bless you and God bless America.